Hello, welcome back to European Autocraft Studios Ferrari 308 project. Nick is back, so he's doing some video on this for us, and he'll do the editing this today, actually. Anyways, I just want to thank Mark for stopping by yesterday, viewer, and there's no better compliment than having somebody tell me that I inspired them to get their 944 running and driving. It was great. It was really nice for him to stop by and have a nice chat with them, and we'll probably be doing a timing belt on that car. It's an 84 944. We'll get that scheduled in, and hopefully we can do a video on that, as well as 928 cam housing gaskets. What a terrible job that is, but we're going to get that done for Kurt next door here. And I started doing some video in the process of replacing the timing belt and the front engine seal. We didn't really finish the video, but we have some clips in there we can show you when we get started on that. But for today, on the 308 project, we're going to remove the cover and expose the drop gears, and take the bell housing off to expose the clutch, and we'll take that apart. If we have time, we'll then go ahead and try to get the cam covers off, and that'll be that for today. And later on, we'll get the timing cover, timing gears, and all that off the front. So that's about it for today. We're gonna we'll start by taking the drop gear cover off and see if there's any carnage in there. Hopefully not. Everything should come off with the zip gun here. If not, we'll just get. Fine. We'll use this instead. Now this is where you fill the transmission. You fill this, it drops down into here. You put in the amount of oil until it spills out of the there's a check plug back here, and then you put in, I think I have to look at the spec, but it might be 3/4 of a quarter, maybe a liter, that fills up the bottom of the drop gear housing, and because it all drains down, and then you add that much more. It's kind of a strange procedure. I gotta look it up. It's been a while, but it's not quite the same procedure. So let him get away. It's not the same standard procedure as another fill type. Definitely had the dropsies today. These washers, I think I mentioned them before, they're Belleville washers. They're conical. You can see the wide ring where it made contact, and then the smaller ring where the nut went on, and it just spreads the washer instead of a split ring or a wavy washer. These are really good. Good washer. Oh, look at that, I forgot about it. It's a good washer. This is a machined case to match the bell housing, so there are matching numbers on it. If you were to have damage, which I've seen, when these gears run dry, it can damage the bearing housing inside, and you have to replace this or weld it and then remachine it, and then it has to be matched to the bell housing. So make sure your oil stays full at all times. Gently prise. All right. All right, simple enough. Oil's nice and clean, and no shavings of any kind. That's just a little pit in the aluminum. Very nice. Here's our thrust washer. for the outside. Rides up against the bearing race here. Needle bearing on the inside. And this gear will come out. Another bearing on the back. This will need to remove the nut and take this off, because this will stay with the bell housing. This is the output shaft from the engine. This is the input shaft to the transmission. I'm going to try to take that off without having to hold on. Let me see how I'm going to do that. Because if I put this back in, then I'm able to turn this. It'll probably turn the engine, but I might be able to break this loose before the engine turns. Ew, that's been staked twice already. So somebody's been working on this before. I'll change these nuts. I don't like to restake these nuts. So let me get a punch and I'll try to knock that out. And then it's this one. Yeah. That's the very special special nuts for these. Ring nuts. Let me get a punch and knock that out. You can just use a punch with a little cone on it. You can just put it in the slot there and just work that right out. Oh, double stake. 2 stakes are better than 1. Now, will it turn? No way. You can wedge a piece of brass or aluminum in here. Don't like to do that. So let me see. Let me get my gun on this. And I'll just give it a quick tap with the gun. It should remove it. We'll torque it back into position when we put it back on. There we go. And there's our ring. Oh my God. All right, so this should come right back out. We got the bearing. I'm going to put this back in the housing just the way it came out. So there's no question. It should come right off. Yeah, that's it. Nothing to it. Now, when the bell housing comes off, the shaft is going to stay. It should slide right out of the, slide right off the shaft with the bell housing. Let's see if that really happens. Meanwhile, we have a whole bunch of other stuff to get out of the way. I mean stuff. So let's get coil wire. Take off the oil separator. Of course, my screwdriver is too big. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Okay, this is our air injection valve. We're not going to be putting this back on. Nothing is really connected or working. The air pump is dead. So all of this stuff is going to go in a box and go with the car. That way the car will maintain some value, having the parts that came off it go back with it, so nothing is thrown away. And we won't need the cylinder. So there's a few things we're gonna change here. Let's get this out of the way. Now keep in mind, all of this can be done in the car. We do not have to, we don't have to remove the engine to do a clutch on a 308. You can also do the valve adjustment in the car. However, this rear rear valve adjustment is very difficult. When you see how we do it with a brass wedge and a little half moon to hold the bucket down to change, oh my God, you'll see. It's something you really don't want to do in the car, but you can if you have to. So to ensure good reliability and engine running well and good performance, you've got to do these valve adjustments every minimum. Well, you don't put any miles. Nobody has miles on these cars, but you should do them every 15,000 miles. If you drive a lot, then figure once a year. These are just regular wavy washers, nothing fancy there. Fancy Belleville washers, like I had the other one. All right, come on. All right, that's air injection manifold. And these are the air injection pipes that actually go into the exhaust stream. And those are designed to heat the catalytic converter quickly while the engine warms up. So before the cats get really hot from driving, you can get them a little hotter by adding some oxygen and a little extra fuel. This one. This is the oil separator. It takes crankcase vapor from the cross tube here. And we have this one, crankcase tube, and we have a drains back to the oil sump. And that is disconnected up front. Now, there's definitely some carnage going on in the clutch because the clutch slips really bad. So I'm afraid we're going to find a cooked flywheel as well. But that's okay. We should be able to cut the flywheel. Cut the flywheel and replace the clutch assembly. There we go. That'll go back on. Noisy outside. These wires are for the ignition pickups. I have seen them fail. There's two of them. We have two ignition systems, independent ignition systems, two ignition coils, two modules, two everything. I have seen these fail. If we can get these at a reasonable price, I think I'm going to replace them as a preventative. One of them goes here on the flywheel, and one of them goes here. That way, there's no question they're not going to have any trouble with it while in use. Just a little preventative maintenance here. They're color coded for bank 1 and bank 2. Now, here and here. This is something else. I think that's a magnetic pickup for the Ferrari's diagnostic system. I don't know why I did that. I don't like air quotes, literally. So, okay, so these are the starter bolts. Either way, they're all the same. These things have never changed from all the years I've been working on 308s. Everything is the same. The starter can come out. Well, there's a bracket on it, so I'm not going to take that off. The starter can stay there. A lot of noise out there. Sorry about that. More Belleville washers here. Only on the 3/8. We don't have them for the larger sizes. I don't know why. No gasket. This is anaerobic sealer. It will harden up without oxygen. So you can put it on there, sort of take your time getting things together and then slap it together. most of it gets displaced. It's really good on machine surfaces because it sort of self-levels. Very good stuff. Speaking of Loctite 574, we talked about fuel distributors. I get to take one apart. The last time I took one apart, it didn't work out too well because they're very delicate and I didn't have a rebuild kit for it. I reused the old diaphragm. I just wanted to clean it out, see what was in there. This time I have that the 911 engine that we had on the ground here that we did the leak down test. The misfire was caused by the fuel distributor. One cylinder number, I think it was number 6, was putting out fuel but very little, and that's what caused the backfire and blew the box. So all that was determined later on. We didn't really video all that. We were just checking a few things, and the car sat for a while like everything else around here. So I'm getting back on it. I've got a rebuild kit for the fuel distributor. We're going to take it apart and see if we can save this fuel distributor. If not, we'll probably have to send it out, have it rebuilt professionally. But we're going to give it a shot. Can't hurt, right? That much, I think. Okay, we're almost there. There is an intermediate plate that we're not taking off. That would be the rest of this over here. You'll see. I don't think we're going to have to take that off. Probably shouldn't. I don't know if we have to or not. We'll have to see if it's leaking there or not. Let me try to give this a push. You going to come off peacefully, or am I going to have to get violent?
What about that last gear?
The last gear, this one. This is the input shaft. This will slide out with the transmission. Not bad. Thanks for asking. Questions from the heavens. This is where we check timing and cam timing. Cam timing is fun because you have 4 different camshafts. And if we replace the sprockets with the metal sprockets, these are plastic, we're going to have to verify our cam timing. That's interesting. We have to use a degree wheel and dial indicators. And you get to see me attempt math. This isn't holding our bell housing on, but I did want to take a look in there. Yeah, there's oil everywhere. Now, will this come off? That's a good question. How am I gonna... Whenever you pry, you gotta be gentle. We don't want to leave any marks. Sometimes it's inevitable, but we try not to. Okay, here we go. It's possible it's stuck on the shaft a little bit here. It looks like it. That's not going to come off of there. There it comes. Okay. It's just tight on the bearing. Well, I probably should just be prying down here because it's not tight up here at all. So let me see. Here we go. All right. Mr. Bellhouse, will you step away? There's a washer, a thrust washer, that's inside that housing there. you'll see that when it goes back together. O-ring and yeah, we got the new O-rings with the clutch kit because there's some gear oil passages here. Well, we'll leave those for now. All right, let's see how bad our clutch is. Yuck. There's no spring force at all. All these bolts are loose and nothing moved. We'll use the prize bar instead. Find a good. Oh, that was easy. Oh yeah. Not much left of our clutch. Not on the rivets though. This is some hot spots. I expected to see some rivet damage, but I think the pressure plate gave up before the clutch disc did. We're close. See how thin? Now, one side of the disc is always thinner than the other. This is the side that goes against the flywheel. That way, when they wear out, the rivets will contact the pressure plate, which you're replacing anyways, rather than destroy the flywheel. So, not as bad as I thought. There is some damage here. It's scored, but that's okay. That can be cleaned up. Boy, that is close. But it was slipping. This still should have been grabbing. But it was slipping because the pressure plate just gave up. There was no more force holding the clutch together. But really, maybe 1,000 miles left, 5,000 miles. So we are happy to change that clutch out. So, flywheel. Oh, no. Dang it. Yuck. Gear oil. Ask Nick about gear oil. That was also a Ferrari. Covered him in gear oil. It was great. Well, it wasn't great. It was bad. It was bad. It was terrible. All right, there it is. Our crankshaft seal is not pouring oil out, but we have oil well, the back of the flywheel's not wet that much. So I guess our oil is coming from probably cam seals and running down. I'll have to dig a little deeper. We might take the, oh yeah, see here we go. Before I change subject here again. These are our pickups from the flywheel. You see the 2 pins? These swing by these magnetic pickups and send a signal to the crankshaft, the ignition system. They're offset just right. These are 180 degrees out, so the way the engine fires, they're in the correct time. I can't comprehend all that at the moment, but there is so many degrees apart, separation of firing between this and then one bang to the other. It's easy to figure out if you know engineering and math and all that, or you have a book that tells you. That's the way I do it. Okay, now. So we might take the sandwich plate out, yeah. And this one here, this is just a diagnostic magnetic pickup. All right, there is our 308 clutch. All could be done in the car very easily. This is a clutch job, shouldn't take you more than 5 hours, I think, to do it in the car. Clean everything, replace your rear main seal while you're in there, and you can have the job in and out of your garage in same day. Nice coffee in the morning, cold beer at night. You're done driving your Ferrari. Get it out and cruise to town. Okay, we ran a little bit longer than I thought on this. Well, we got the flywheel off. We get to see clutch, all that good stuff. And you see us take a lot of stuff apart. Not much going together, but that's all coming soon for this and the Corvette engine. The Corvette engine had some scoring. Glenn came out to look at it from our machine shop. He goes, no, we got to fix that. So he thinks it could come out with a hone. So we'll hone it, put new rings in it, hopefully to measure the piston skirts. If all the pistons are good, we can reuse the pistons. While we're at it, we'll check the big end of the rods, all that stuff, and go through the whole engine. I haven't talked to the customer yet, so don't say anything. I'll see him on Monday. But we do put stuff together, and the Bentley that we were working on, Nick was working on, did a great job finalizing that and getting that done and working. We're going to show you that, how the top works. It's perfect. When you see how the hoses are all laid out inside, it's a nightmare, a lot of work. So let me show you that now. I'll show you how it works. Really kind of fun to watch the whole system come together. And take a look on the screen. Nick's putting pictures up of photos up of the work in progress of what it all looked like as it was being put back together. So come take a look at this. The car is all back together. A little aggressive, but it works really well. Pretty cool, huh? Believe it or not, it's starting to ring. I'll have to watch it go the other way. This top has no safety features, so keep your fingers out of it while it's moving. Look at that. That's it. Most tops, the windows will go up on their own. This one doesn't. So one button puts all the windows up. Pretty neat. So that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up to Nick for doing a great job on this. And like, subscribe, and share. We get a lot of good views when you share it. We appreciate it very much. Thanks for the subscription, subscribing, and I could go on forever. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.